The man, the myth, the legend, Clemente. When you think about the best players in baseball history, the all-time greats can be described with eloquent simplicity. The bombast of Babe Ruth, the courage of Jackie Robinson, the flair of Willie Mays. When you say the name Roberto Clemente, two words quickly come to mind: grace and elegance. The numbers are well known to most. Four-time batting champion from 1961 to 1967. His best year was 1967, the year after his MVP. He led the majors with a .357 average and 209 hits. He had a 400 OBP and career-best 171 OPS plus and 8.9 WAR. Those numbers are eye-popping, but it's notable that Clemente's early years were anything but extraordinary. In his first 5 seasons, his slash line was .282, .311, .395, and an 89 OPS plus. You know, you look at that OBP with an average of 2.1 WAR per season. But once he got comfortable with the Pittsburgh Pirates and big league pitching, Clemente went to a different level. His last 12 seasons, he averaged 178 hits and 6.7 WAR with a 146 OPS plus. Quite simply, one of the best all-around players in baseball for well over a decade. From 1961 to 1972, he had an 80.2 WAR, behind only Hank Aaron and Willie Mays. But the offense only tells part of the story. Clemente is widely considered to be the finest defensive right fielder of all time. Obviously, this is before defensive runs saved, or UZR, but by total zone runs on the greatest defensive players of all time, any position, the Pirates right fielder ranks 5th, behind only Brooks Robinson, Andrew Jones, Mark Belanger, and the Wizard Ozzie Smith. All those skills were a huge reason why the Pittsburgh Pirates were World Series champions in 1960 and 1971, with Clemente banging out a hit in every World Series game he played. And of course, there's that magical hit total of 3,000 acquired through 18 seasons of superb play. But that's not why the Roberto Clemente Award was given today. That's not why the studio here at MLB Network is called Studio 21. It's because of his selflessness, his dedication to making the world around him a better place. As a youngster in Puerto Rico, Clemente's family members began calling him Moment for momentito, just a moment in Spanish, a word he used often when interrupted. And yet he was never unhurried when it came to placing others above himself. New Year's Eve 1972, Roberto Clemente died while doing his best to help others. Killed in a plane crash headed to Nicaragua to deliver supplies after a devastating earthquake. His son had a terrible premonition that his father shouldn't go on the plane, but Roberto would not be swayed, and sadly the son's fears would not be assuaged. As Cervantes wrote, "Good actions ennoble us. We are the sons of our own deeds." Clemente wasn't perfect. He had a love-hate relationship with the Pittsburgh press, and in addition to being dubbed a hypochondriac, he could be moody. But when people would see him on the field, they were reminded why he was the best of his race, the human race. I visited the Roberto Clemente Museum in his hometown of Carolina, Puerto Rico back in 2011. What struck me most of all was the adoration and sadness, intertwined together. When you'd gaze at the pictures in a reverie and hear the stories that were sweet melodies from those that knew him or his lovely late wife Vera, the portraits of Clemente left me awestruck. That strong bone structure, the silky skin, the intensity of those eyes. 1,000-yard stare, more like 1,000 years in those lived-in pupils. And so we are left with the sad melancholy of a great man gone too soon. The first brilliant Latino superstar in baseball, a Jackie Robinson of the community, a trailblazer who had pride to burn and played with such passion, just as he lived his life before it was extinguished.